Mall used to be one of the most vibrant malls in St. Louis.
This was the busiest mall in St. Louis for many, many, many years. When I was a little boy, when I came here with my mother, I actually walked down this street. This was an actual street, and this was all open, and this was outside.
When I was really young, like 10 or 12, it was a bustling, mall. But for all of the time that I can remember, it's been a struggling establishment. People just haven't been coming here very much for the last 20 years. I don't know if it's location.
The company that owned it before the current management company did not keep up the repairs. They didn't take care of their tenants. Tenants didn't renew their leases because of it. And it just couldn't hold its own against the larger and more modern malls.
This is one of the malls that just didn't make it anymore.
The woman who was in charge of the mall at that time got together with the head of the Regional Arts Commission here in St. Louis. They came up with this idea for art spaces, for stores that were all related to the arts, whether it was a dance school or a live theater group, or in our case, a gallery. This used to be the 579 store, a dress store for people who wore sizes 5, 7, and 9. Well, our business here started 3 years ago when they decided to start the Art Spaces program in this mall because there were so many empty stores and they needed to do something to keep the business alive, to keep the mall alive.
I heard about them opening art spaces up to artists. I've been here for a couple of years in this space. We're now going to be leaving shortly, but it's been rather successful. This one, I got all the cobblestones in here and I laid out all of the patterns that I wanted, and then I started filling them with different, like with a marble gravel. And I made it so that it was like a walkway, so you were walking through a garden in an old jewelry store. It no longer looks like a jewelry store, but it looks like an outdoor sculpture garden. It's gotten slow now that the stores are all closing, so there's less and less traffic. The performance arts in this mall have done extremely well because they have such big, large spaces to work in.
I run a professional dance company. We do professional performances, 1 or 2 a year. We do a lot of educational programming. I found out that the mall was offering very inexpensive retail spaces to arts organizations, and we moved in pretty quickly. This space was a men's warehouse. This space was good for us because there were dressing rooms built into the space, which our dancers use to change, because frequently they're coming from work or they're going someplace after rehearsal. And there were some mirrors in this space when we moved in. We moved a lot of them in. Know what the future holds. What I've heard is that the mall is slated for redevelopment. All of the tenants who had leases in the building that were essentially paying the overhead cost of keeping the mall open, all of their leases have expired and/or they're closing their locations. So the building is really just going to be shut down until the developers, find the money or determine that the time is right to redevelop the mall.
It doesn't look good for the co-op or the mall at this point. The wing we are in is scheduled to start demolition in March.
It's going to be more of a entertainment type venue. They're going to have maybe a new theater in here, maybe a state-of-the-art bowling alley, some restaurants and some bars.
They're changing the model of the mall from kind of a mall where you come inside and you do your walking inside the mall to a mall where the stores all have individual exits to the parking lot.
There's all kinds of things that they've talked about, but nobody really knows anything. As far as we know as artists, we've got to leave in a couple months, so.
There is another mall in the area that's doing something similar at Chesterfield Mall, Artropolis. And I've heard that there are other malls all over the U.S. that are trying it out because it did prove successful.
Well, there's places all over St. Louis where they've taken old warehouses and stuff and turned them into places for artists. Around here, there's tons of these places where they've done very, very well. A lot of art stuff in galleries all over the place.
In St. Louis, this is the first place where there were a lot of artists that went in and where it was clearly being branded and it was being marketed that way, and where there was a push to reinvent the whole of the mall as a space for artists.
Everybody is moving out in preparation for the mall closing.
We don't know where we're going yet. We're really right in the thick of looking for spaces, and we're exploring every possible option.
Leaving here, I've just gone to different places after this. I'm just moving some of my stuff to different galleries, and then I'll do my art shows like I've done all these years. After I leave here, I've still got plenty of places to go.